The moment I slammed the hidden bank statements onto the mahogany courtroom table, exposing how my own husband stole over $480,000 in my name, was the moment his face collapsed, and I finally took back everything he tried to destroy. My name is Ava Mitchell, and until last year I thought my life in Dallas, Texas was stable, predictable, maybe even good. I had been married to Ethan for 7 years. He was charming in public, measured and calm, one of those men people described as safe. I worked as a nurse at a private clinic, pulling long night shifts, believing we were building a life together. Ethan always told me he was handling the finances, and because I was exhausted most days I didn't argue. We lived in a modern townhouse near White Rock Lake. I furnished every corner with love, soft blankets, framed photos, candles that smelled like home. I took pride in being the one who held our life together. Until one afternoon changed everything. I came home early from a canceled shift. Ethan's car was in the driveway even though he had told me he'd be working late. I walked inside feeling something strange tug at my chest. That uneasy, instinctive intuition women get when something is off. And when I heard a woman's laugh echo from our bedroom, my heart almost stopped. That was the first crack, tiny sharp. I had no idea how deep the fracture would go. First I froze. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the hallway. But when I opened the door, everything inside me shattered. Ethan was with another woman, a younger one, someone who looked at me like I was the intruder. He didn't even apologize. He just said, "Ava, you weren't supposed to be home." Not "I'm sorry." Not "this isn't what it looks like." Just irritation, like I had interrupted his life. The woman smirked at me, sliding off the bed with zero shame. Humiliation burned through me, but the pain was only beginning. Because that night, after she left and Ethan barely gave me a glance, I went to the kitchen table to breathe, and spotted a letter from our bank caught between the mail. It was addressed to me, but the return address was a loan office. I opened it, and my entire world collapsed again. It said, "Final notice, $52,000 business loan default, my name, my social security number, my credit, my financial future, all used without my knowledge." I tore through Ethan's office drawer in panic. He tried to stop me, tried to grab the papers from my hands, but it was too late. There were multiple loans, a secret credit card with over $30,000 charged to it, and worst of all, a forged signature on a document using our house as collateral. I couldn't breathe. My betrayal wasn't just emotional. It wasn't just an affair. It was financial destruction. Deliberate. Calculated. I confronted him, shaking. "Ethan, what have you done?" For a moment, Ethan didn't answer. He just stared at me like I was the problem. Like I had caused all of this by daring to question him. When he finally spoke, his voice was cold, too calm. "Ava, you worry too much. That's why I never tell you anything. You can't handle pressure." Those words hit me harder than the betrayal itself. Because they were the same words he used years ago when I left my abusive childhood home in Montana. The same words I thought I'd never hear again. He knew my past. He knew how hard it was for me to trust anyone. And he used that against me. He walked past me, opening the fridge like we were having a normal conversation. "You're overreacting. It's just some paperwork. You wouldn't understand." That was the moment I realized something dark and painful. Ethan never saw me as a partner. He saw me as a tool. A financial shortcut. Someone he could mold, manipulate, and silence whenever it benefited him. And the worst part? I almost let him. As I stood there with the fridge light glowing between us, I felt myself shrinking, becoming the quiet, scared girl I promised I'd never be again. But then something inside me snapped. For the first time in years, I felt anger burn through my fear. And I refused to disappear. His answer: "Ava, calm down. It's only money. I'll fix it." But he didn't fix anything. 2 weeks later, I lost my savings. My credit plummeted. Collectors started calling me, not him. And then I found out why. Ethan had opened everything in my name because his credit was already destroyed. He used me. He drained me. He betrayed me. And when he realized I was uncovering more, he said words I'll never forget. "Ava, no one's going to believe you. You're too emotional. I handle everything, remember?" That was the moment I almost broke. I sat on the kitchen floor at 3 a.m., shaking and sobbing so hard my chest hurt. I felt stupid, blind, ashamed. But then something inside me shifted. If he wanted to underestimate me, then that would become my greatest weapon. I stopped crying, and I started planning. I gathered every document I could find: loan papers, credit reports, forged signatures, bank withdrawals. I bought a cheap scanner from Walmart and worked late into the night, collecting digital proof. Then I did something Ethan never expected. I hired a forensic handwriting expert. When the report came back proving he forged my signature, I felt a flicker of power return to my body. Next, I visited a financial attorney in downtown Dallas. I brought everything. Every lie, every document, every printout. She looked at it all over slowly. Then she looked at me and said, "Ava, this isn't just fraud. This is identity theft. And you have enough proof to bury him." That was the first night I slept soundly in weeks. The plan we built together was simple but devastating. Step 1. Freeze the fraudulent accounts. Step 2. File an identity theft report. Step 3. Initiate divorce proceedings. Step 4. Present everything in court at once, publicly. But I added my own step. Step 5. Make sure Ethan didn't see it coming. For weeks I acted broken, quiet, defeated. I cooked him dinner. I refused to argue. I let him believe he'd won. And the more helpless I looked, the bolder he became. He started bringing the other woman around. He laughed louder. He spent money more recklessly. He had no idea I was documenting everything with timestamps. I waited. Prepared. Let the anger sharpen into something cold. Until the day came when everything was ready. The courtroom in Dallas County smelled like old paper and polished floors. Ethan walked in looking confident, wearing a suit he bought using my credit card. His mistress was seated behind him, smirking. They really thought this was going to be a simple divorce. But I had a moment planned, my thumbnail moment. When the judge asked for initial evidence, I reached into my folder and slammed down a thick stack of documents. The sound echoed across the room. Ethan's jaw tightened. "These," I said, my voice shaking but strong, "are forged signatures, secret loans, stolen funds, and identity theft committed by the man sitting right there." Ethan tried to stand. "That's not." But the judge silenced him. The courtroom watched in stunned silence as the handwriting analysis was presented. Then the bank statements. Then the fraudulent credit card. His mistress's face was drained of color. The judge looked at Ethan with disgust. "Mr. Mitchell, this is serious criminal activity." Ethan's voice cracked. "Ava, please. Don't do this." But it was already done. When the judge ruled that Ethan was solely responsible for all debts, that he forfeited his rights to the house, and that he would face a criminal investigation, I felt a wave of justice crash through me. The courtroom moment went viral in my imagination. Ethan collapsed into his chair, hands shaking, realizing his entire life had just imploded. The mistress grabbed her purse and slipped out. Leaving him alone at IT was everything he deserved. Ethan ended up losing his job. His mistress dumped him. He moved into a tiny apartment across town while dealing with criminal charges. Meanwhile, I rebuilt myself. I paid off what I could. The rest was legally transferred back to him. I saved slowly, worked overtime, and eventually moved into a peaceful suburban place of my own. One evening, as I stood on my porch watching the Texas sunset, a gentle breeze brushing past my face, I finally felt the peace he tried to steal from me. I learned something powerful. Revenge isn't about hurting someone back. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself they hoped you'd lose forever. I didn't destroy Ethan's life. He destroyed his own. I simply revealed the truth. And now I can say this with a steady voice. He underestimated the wrong woman.
Thank you so much for watching this story on Revenge Uncut. If you felt the emotions, the twists, and the justice in this journey, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us and helps our small community grow. We're on a heartfelt mission to reach 1,000 subscribers, and with your help, we know we can get there. Stay tuned for more powerful stories. Your engagement keeps Revenge Uncut alive.